Welcome to the lunation situation. Wow, it is still April and it is only 2 weeks from our last solar eclipse that we had April 8th. So it means we find ourselves at a full moon, and that one occurs on April 23rd at 23:48 in the evening GMT. So adjust for your own local time zone, but it means that everybody's going to experience that on April the 23rd. Well, it occurs at 4 degrees and 17 minutes of Scorpio. So after the very intense solar eclipse, it is time to dive very deep. That is what Scorpio represents. It means a total transformation, and it is going deep into the trenches of your subconscious mind, your psyche, your trauma, your pain, your fears, with the goal to transform, to, kill off perhaps parts of yourselves that went through all that pain and trauma, or maybe not so much kill it off, but at least transmute it, transform it, and alchemize it through deep healing, such as acceptance, facing what happened, feeling what happened, and integrating your experiences. And I think the real thing that causes a lot of struggle in our lives is resistance. So if you let go of a lot of the resistance to what we've been through, how life is and all that we can free ourselves easier. And so the Scorpio shows us that it's never the end. Everything is a cycle. Everything ends and everything begins. And, it's up to you to take charge and to do that. And it requires to face some of these darker sides of ourselves and perhaps in society as well. As this is, a collective energy, Moon in Scorpio, is going to bring out a lot of the inner darkness that is reflected in the collective as well. It's about, again, rebirthing and, like a phoenix rising again from whatever ended or whatever you wanted to end. So it's quite profound. It occurs at 4 degrees of Scorpio. That is what I call a crab degree, or the sign of, the crab. And that means that it is related to our roots, family, ancestral causes, connected to our DNA imprinted in our bodies, and that we carry on until we don't. And the don't part is Scorpio moon. But it's also related to childhood, so things you actually experienced and been through. So that two part of it being about your own childhood, the wounds, the fears, the traumas that come from that, but also, as I said, the genealogy, so the ancestral part as well. And it requires a lot of deep healing, because at least maybe your childhood stuff you might remember a little bit, though trauma does cause us to forget a lot of the things or access the memories. But ancestral stuff is quite harder, right? How do you get there? How do you heal that? Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, which is a very intense planet, right? And this moon is squaring Pluto. So, and Pluto has now entered Aquarius, or is in Aquarius for a while now. And it means that we can have access to new approaches that maybe we didn't find normal before, maybe we didn't deem effective because it is alternative or quite brand new, actually, with Pluto in Aquarius. So it is the awareness that everything is energy, and so you have to heal at a quantum level, especially when you're talking genealogy, related to family lineage. So when we look at Pluto in Aquarius, it shows us that alternative ways of healing that use energy, such as bioresonance, energy work such as hypnotherapy or sound healing, or I don't know, salt cave energetic frequency healing, or even aromatherapy, because that uses frequency as well, the frequency of the botanical. So all these, well, they were always around, these therapies, but as I said, they weren't accepted as, normal, and therefore maybe doubting the effectivity of these therapies. But Pluto in Aquarius shows that there are new ways to healing, to therapy, and new ways to face and transform these deep traumas that are within ourselves, our psyche, represented by Scorpio. But this is a full moon, so the sun is in Taurus, and it means, as we know, trauma is also in the body. It is embodied because of, well, several reasons. DNA is in our body, so that's one, and that causes the whole genealogy lineage thing. But also, it is scientifically proven now, and there's this wonderful book out there that is probably very full moon in Scorpio, and that is this: The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk. And he's a Dutch psychiatrist that shows what he, his how he found out that it's deep in the body, and so healing needs to be happening on multiple levels. And I have experienced that myself. As I've mentioned before, I've been healing since 2012, so I've very much known that healing happens on multiple levels, and therefore is about multiple subjects. It is not as easy as, well, just go to therapy and do your thing. It is deeply in the body, so just talking about something is not gonna help. It's one of the steps. We do have a brain, so we do need to understand some things. So talking is part of it, probably, but definitely not all of it. And perhaps it could even be very damaging to talk about trauma and fears if you have no coping mechanisms and nothing to, process what you were just speaking of, and therefore, again, triggering in your body. And, what do you do with all those feelings? So healing is quite a thing, and it's not that easy, and you need a lot of tools, and you need to know a lot of things. And it's possibly even damaging to start a few of these therapies if you know nothing of how to deal with processing your trauma. But what I do know is that if you have trauma, and let's face it, due to what occurs in this world, I think a lot of us do have trauma, small or big, whatever it is. If the collective, the world is going through so much pain and problems, and it is very likely that a lot of people, dare I say most of the people, have some sort of a trauma and emotional pain that is either theirs, something they went through themselves, at whatever age, but likely with this very early in childhood. Or as I said, maybe you personally haven't been through anything that bad, but it's coded in your DNA, and that is something you cannot escape. So sometimes the pain you're feeling, or even the fear you're feeling, is not from this lifetime. It's maybe your grandfather's or your great-great-grandmother's pain. And often, as these beautiful lineage programs show, such as, BBC's Who Do You Think You Are? And there's a great American version, something about roots. There's roots in the title. I can't remember right now. But these programs show us how DNA works, because you might think that you're struggling with one thing, and if you have little knowledge, you might even blame yourself, like, wow, I'm so useless, or like, why can't I heal this? Why is this so deep? And why am I going in circles? And you might not have like an example of like, where is this coming from? But these DNA programs, or these lineage programs, show us that, often things are not just repeated in your life as experiences, but often experiences are repeated because it's coded in DNA. So meaning that it's not just you going through this. It was your mother going through something similar. It was your grandmother going through something similar. It was your great-grandmother going through a similar thing. Or sometimes it skips a generation, right? We've heard of that. But it comes back. And yeah, therefore these things can be very deeply rooted, and it shows. It shows in this lunation that it is very deeply rooted. And if you care for it, we don't even have to go this far, but it could even be like lifetimes of your soul, and like dimensional stuff, as Pluto is in Aquarius, and could indicate that, or even cosmically related stuff, right? So and then you would have to look in all these mythologies, astrology related energies that we're working with. Everything is interconnected and intertwined, right? But to keep it simple and understandable and manageable, it is, it's in the body. And or maybe it's in the psyche, as the moon in Scorpio would say. But the psyche affects the body. We're together, right? I mean, we're in this vessel. It's clear as day, right? Why are we so surprised? Our mind is right here, and our body's right here. It's here. They're connected. So the one affects the other, and trauma is all over, right? So, and it needs to be treated as such too. I'll give you one more example about this, that, we find it perfectly normal and very understandable, probably because we can see, right? Scorpio and all that is about the unseen, so it's very hard for a human brain to get it. But we understand that when there is a physical ailment, that we need treatment, right? Like, you can try to ignore physical ailments, but that won't work out that great, because it will make itself known. So physical ailments, an infection, let's keep it at an infection, because that's a very nice example of psychological pain as well, and how emotions or experiences can be infected like a wound. Now, if you have an infection, if you've ever gone through that, and I know what that is like, is that you might want to ignore it, but it will not ignore you. So it will be infested and infested until it goes very sour. So we know that an infection needs to be treated. So either you need antibiotics, or you need you need a doctor to clean it, and you need treatment. We know that, right? You will not leave an infected area in your body like that. You cannot. Your body simply will not accept that. So we know that we need treatment. We need to put something on it or whatever. But when it comes to infections of emotions, or psyche, through the experiences we had or lineage stuff, why is it not understandable that needs treatment too? So yeah, that's what this Scorpio full moon tells me, shows me. And as I said in the chart, it is screaming to Pluto and Aquarius, because there's a massive T-square. So to simply put it apart, as I usually do, a full moon is an ending, is a completion. So in a way, you could really come to understand some things as the moon comes full circle. So might the story or the understanding of your trauma or pain or fears or whatnot, it is about facing your darkness, because that sun, that light, that consciousness and understanding of the sun is shining so bright into your darkness, into your personal darkness, but also the collective darkness. So first of all, that makes this a very emotional moon, and it makes it a very triggering moon and a very deep moon. So this is not going to go lightly or easy. This is something we will feel, okay? And we might feel it in the body due to, a heavy fixed T-square here, with also Aquarius involved. I would say this could come in all ways, but this could increase nervousness and anxiety of all kinds. This might make it very hard to have good sleep, and energy doesn't work in a specific moment, so we'll feel this before and after as well. It will be very likely to be triggering because of that T-square to Pluto. And Pluto, as I said, is the ruler of Scorpio. So this just shows that we will have to go very deep. And yes, a lot of uncomfortability will be brought to daylight. Like it will be made known. Like you will have to face it. There's no running away. Usually with Pluto energy, never does. There's no way of running away from this. You're gonna feel it, and you have to. See, Pluto is that pressure, right? It is the heavyweight champion and cannot run away from this struggle anymore. And not only will you be forced to deal with it, with yourself, but Pluto also digs deep. It goes right into the core, deep, 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 and it will excavate, so bring out all the depths of whatever is there, infested emotions and whatnot, patterns and blockages and thoughts and beliefs, and it will bring it all up, and you will have to look at every one of those. I think this is it's a very powerful full moon. I would say the most powerful of this year. And either it will feel very exhausting to face all these things and these feelings, or because a full moon goes both ways. It not only shines light on what didn't have light, but it's also, as I said, the completion of energies, and therefore a harvest moment as well. So maybe some of these stories, some of these pains and traumas that have been causing a lot in your life and triggering experiences or dictating your life, which trauma usually does, that maybe with this you can bring it to an end. Full stop, closure. So moon in Scorpio is also, you know, where manipulation can occur, where abuse can occur, and power struggles, power plays. You know, the sun is also squaring Pluto, right? That's definitely power struggle. Who's the authority? As Pluto is putting the pressure on both the moon and the sun, it's literally above, right? And Aquarius is that advanced perspective, the higher mind. So it's literally saying, go beyond. Go beyond the body and the mind and the psyche. Go beyond what you literally experience or not, and just look at it from a more detached, observatory intelligence, and just try to look at what's playing out. And it is time to eliminate and let go of these deeply seated blockages and patterns in your subconscious mind. So these are like beliefs you subscribe to somewhere along your life, or somewhere along someone's life, and therefore coded in your DNA. It will really help to see it from that higher perspective of more consciousness, more awareness, and to look at it from that quantum, where everything is just merely energy. And, you know, the positivity comes from, well, if you subscribe to it once, you can unscribe, right? If you accepted it once, you can now choose to not accept it, to deny. Well, not deny. That goes wrong. Not deny, but actively understand that it's not yours, and bring relief to yourself and these really deep issues. It's time to transform and transmute energy. This is energetic work. Healing is energetic work. And we do not do this alone. We need help and assistance with healing work, and thus energy work as well. It's also because Pluto's in Aquarius, it shows us what we all know, but we forget, that we are interconnected, and that your situation and issue affects everybody. And it also means on the other side that if you heal and bring relief to your beingness, that you bring that out into the world as well. So it starts with you. So everything's a reflection of everybody. And that gives us, hopefully, the understanding that there is a great responsibility to clean your act up. Okay? To deal with the physical and the emotional and the psychological. And that there is great reward in healing because it affects everybody. So the moon in Scorpio is that very deep, penetrating energy that is going to expose the infection, right? It's going to show and expose that what was maybe even hidden or out of sight, out of understanding, maybe you weren't aware of it, and it will now be clear as day, or very so intensified that you'll notice, right? This is where we look through the lies. You know, Scorpio and Pluto have that X-ray vision, and they'll know. They're very intuitive. So this is a very intuitive time. This is a time of knowing deep things. This is a time of feeling very deeply. And let's face it, this is a triangle of fixed energy. Taurus, Scorpio, and Aquarius are fixed signs, or better known as crises signs. So this is not an easy energy, not at all. So I'm not going to make it very lightly or something. We can have a positive attitude like I have now, but we're not going to be Pollyanna, and we're not going to deny what we feel. This is so necessary. And that solar eclipse 2 weeks ago has given us a lot of power, a lot of light, and a lot of understanding of your individual power. And now it's time to power up. And we do that by taking charge of either what is powerless or what is holding us back from our power. What is making ourselves powerless, right? Pluto and Scorpio are about power. So how can you empower yourself? Well, through deep healing. And clearly, I feel this full moon is pointing that out to us. It's about revealing everything. Scrutinizing and facing what needs to be faced. Uncovering the hidden, the secrets. Moon in Scorpio and Pluto is the shadow work energy. So that's clear, right? By now, that that's what I mean. And, you know, Scorpio is a very private energy. And it likes, it knows its mysteries. It knows how to, you know, it's excited by mystery, but also uncover mysteries and solve mysteries. So, you know, that's what you're doing on a private level as well. And because it is so private, it might be hard for you to share what you're going through. But that Pluto in Aquarius would tell you to please share. Please let other people help you. Please know you're not alone, and that this will help so many others. Just you being responsible and taking charge is going to affect so many people positively. So the moon in Scorpio is giving us a very obsessive energy to be very focused on the nitty-gritty. So this is also about facing these emotions that we're attached to, you know, which is why it causes cycles and recurring patterns. So you could look at what kind of emotion is the strongest for you, because it clearly repeats. And then you could look into the emotion and where it comes from, and, you know, how can you transmute that? So this is about cutting deep and cutting off. We look at what's underneath the surface to understand what has been operating within, what has been driving our reality or experiences. So the crisis comes from that we go very deep and we feel the crisis and experience it before we can go higher. So we're going low before we can go up. And as I said, I feel that that solar eclipse 2 weeks before has given us the strength. Because you need strength. Okay, it takes a lot of courage to do this work that Scorpio and Pluto demands from us. People say so easily that, especially now, I think it's going viral, that very Pluto and Aquarius, the power of authenticity. Now, I've always known this because I was very interested in understanding what is success. And yeah, it comes from being very authentic and very at ease with yourself, being comfortable with who you are. That's authenticity, being your own powerful self. And that means you should not be afraid to annoy anybody, should not be afraid to say what you want to say, you know, to crack a joke here and there and maybe hurt someone. But that should not be your intention, of course. But it comes with humor that, you know, it's a bit of that Scorpio where it can sting a little bit. But laughter is medicine, right? So all these things, you know, not being afraid to be unliked comes with authenticity. And, you know, a lot of people want to be liked. That's probably why they share that, you know, that authenticity is the power. Yeah, it is. But getting to real core essence of who you are, to that authentic self, is work. Okay? Maybe there are a lucky few who are born that way. But most people were somewhere along the line, and this is where trauma comes from, affected by whatever occurred in society or what was told to them or what was done to them. And due to that, it is very hard to be authentic. It's very hard to not please and not be liked. And see, we're working with that because the South Node is in Libra, right? We've been working with that since last summer, to not care for being liked or not, for being, you know, not caring to please because you think that will make you liked, right? So it's a lot of these programs in the subconscious mind that, first of all, you're becoming aware of. Because if you do not do that, you cannot stop it. And once you're aware of it, you face it and accept that that's how you've been operating. And that's just a way of operating, and that you can change the way you operate by rejecting that belief that you don't need to be pleasing anybody to be liked. That being liked does not say anything about your value or worth. And that you matter just because you are born, because you're being, right? You don't have to do anything, be anything to be liked or to be of value. You already are. But you need to understand that yourself. You need to accept that yourself. And that process helps in changing your ways. Because if until now that was not like how you lived your life, then you have to learn new ways of integrating that, of being the authentic you. Because you haven't been that for, I don't know, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years. I speak from experience. Now, I've always thought I was very authentic. Until, you know, I had these habits and way of behavior that was like, you're not being authentic in this situation. You're not saying what you feel and think. You don't want to upset anybody, so you hold back. That's not being authentic. So being authentic is part of learning to be authentic, is part of that healing process. That's the reward. So most of us have to go through a lot of processing and changing in behaviors to get there. And I would say a lot of females have this problem, right? Because we've been installed for generations, and hello, here comes that, the crab energy again of the moon degree. We've been installed with this tremendous program that we have to please, that we have to be liked for some reason. And so then we shut up and, you know, become less of ourselves. And that holds back a lot. That holds back healthy relationships. That holds back healthy children. Everything. Career, money, it's all related. So stepping into your power, body as well. Stepping into your power and authenticity is the goal also of this lunation, clearly. But I tell you, that's a process, and the moon in Scorpio is showing that as well. We have to go deep. We have to not ignore these smells of the infections that are underneath the surface, okay? It's time to face them. It's time to, you know, put some healing balm on the pain and the hurt. It's time to power up, but that means going deep. It means that we have to go deep so that we can eliminate and purge, because that is moon in Scorpio. This is time to deeply let go, but you can only do that if you know what you're holding on to. If you know what has been playing out in your life. Why have you made the choices you've made? Why are you suffering or in pain or whatever? So even though it's dark and not easy, it is very promising. Very promising. Because the time to heal is now. Says astrology, like in big, big, big capital letters. The time is now. And if you have been on that healing journey like myself for quite a while, and have been doing all of these things that I just mentioned, then I feel, again, the promising energy of this is just so many steps closer to that authentic power that you are. So either you have eliminated a lot of shit from your life until now, and congratulations, this is your award. Or you're pushed into that massive healing that's about time. Because the reality is changing. And we have to step up to, you know, these changing times. The energy is different. The energy is faster. And there's a lot going on that we need to uncover, which is also Scorpio moon. There are a lot of things in the world that is kept, in a way, a secret from us. And Pluto in Aquarius is going to show all that. So how are we going to deal with all of that? Truth and the stuff, you know, we don't want to hear without a strength and core power and essence, you know, understanding of the essence of who you are. You cannot carry the rest of the truth. So we have to have very strong individuals. You know, we have to be that so that we can face a lot of these things, changing times that are occurring. Pluto in Aquarius is going to amp up the frequency. Everything is going to go faster and quicker and beyond a normal reality. So, you know, we have to know these things. You have to first know yourself. You have to know yourself very deeply. You have to get rid and eliminate all that you are not, which is a lot. Which is a lot. That's why people are suffering and why things can feel so heavy, because you're carrying a lot of stuff that is not yours. And I think this is all related, and most people of my generation will understand. We are the Pluto Scorpio generation, okay? If you're born around 80s, I believe from 1980 on until, I don't know, 95 or something, that's Pluto Scorpio generation. So what I've always also feel strongly in this lineation is that the Pluto Scorpio generation is waking up. Now, of course, that's triggered by Pluto moving into Aquarius, which is a square to your natal Pluto in Scorpio, right? Depending on where you were born. But especially early 80s children, they're triggered. They're triggered this year, like maximum. And this full moon is where a lot of people are waking up, okay? A lot of people in general, if they are Pluto Scorpio or not, everybody's waking up, okay? This is where we wake up. We wake up to the light, to the dark, to all. And but it's going to be stronger for Pluto Scorpio. This is where the Pluto Scorpio generation wakes up to their power, to their authenticity, and starts to demand things, a new reality, because they were born to do that. Pluto Scorpio is born to look in the dark, to uncover these mysteries, to uncover the dark sides of not only humanity and individuals and the psyche of that, but also all the shit that's going on in society. And so Pluto Scorpio generation is bringing up all the shit, all the garbage, all the secrets, all the nastiness of whatever was going on. And it's going to uncover all these lies. And it's going to bring out the truth. And it's going to be very hard to accept, because these are usually uncomfortable truths, because they were put away, you know, not wanting to be faced for a very long time. So Pluto Scorpio generation is waking up, and they are the change makers. So it's going to be quite exciting what they're going to bring. It's going to be a very powerful period, though. So maybe, you know, a lot of responsibility does lay in the Pluto Scorpio generation, because we're naturally more equipped to deal with the stuff that this moon is bringing, or bringing up. We have more responsibility in guiding this energy. So it's time to transform a lot. It's going to affect our reality, okay? It's going to change everything. That's the purpose. So we should not be afraid of all these changes. Just look at how you can empower yourself more and more and more. There's no more denial. Whatever it is, accept it. Whatever happened, accept it. Feel it. Let it move through you. And once you step into that real you, because you're not all those things, okay? You're not that. You're something else. And maybe you don't even know who that is, what that is. Who are you? At the depth of yourself, who are you? Maybe it's scary to uncover that if, you know, if you've lived with these coping mechanisms for 30, 40, 50 years. We look at the second ruler of Scorpio, because Pluto is the current ruler. But before Pluto was discovered around the 1940s, which is quite recent still, Mars was the ancient ruler of Scorpio. So I feel we should definitely look at that. And Mars is at 24, let's say 25 degrees of Pisces, next to Neptune, who is at 28 degrees of Pisces. Okay, let's say 24 and 28 degrees of Pisces. So both are near at the end tail of Pisces. Now this is also the energy of endings, you know, and Scorpio is the energy of endings. Full moon is the energy of endings. So a lot is ending here. And these are emotional, intensely emotional energies. These are the water signs. So emotions are ending. And they also rule the subconscious mind, as I said, where all that stuff is in. All these programs, the DNA, all these beliefs that are not your own, such as being liked, needing to please. They come very deep. They come so deep because they're deep in your psyche, coded. Because you saw your mom being that way, or you saw the princess in the Disney story being there that way. You know, these are very... I'll tell you a few things how subconscious mind is programmed. Repetition. If you see it often enough, long enough, you'll believe it. Okay? This is how your subconscious mind works, you know? And also, in certain states of mind. So in hypnotic states of mind, such as theta energy, which most children are in all the time, especially until the age of 7, which is where a lot of that subconscious programming occurs. And so you don't even know that you're programmed then. So the mind of a child is very prone to being programmed in whatever way, okay? So, I mean, it just shows with my examples that a lot of the stuff that you're doing and being and believing, it's just not yours. I know this can maybe feel daunting because, as I said, well then who are you? Right? I'm sorry, this video goes very deep, but hey, that's Scorpio. If it makes you uncomfortable, you can tune off, but you cannot tune off this energy, so you might as well listen. Okay, so Mars is right next to Neptune. Man, that's intense too. That is really intense too. Again, as I said, ending. But not just ending, completion. Okay? So you're done. You're done with it. It's time to have it be removed from your life. These are deep things under the surface and unseen. Lineage, emotions, subconscious patterning, things that drive you to make choices and have these experiences. When if you heal those things, you'll just have completely different experiences. So the ruler Mars is our vitality, our health in a way. It's our body for sure. So this is also about, again, you know, codes, deep codes that are in your body can now be deeply healed and be removed. So this is very deep cleaning, deep purging. This is spiritual hygiene of the body and these very deep energetic connections to the body. This is a time to rest as so much is being transformed. It can be very exhausting and tiring. You might need a lot of sleep, and I do believe that sleep is where you clean a lot of that stuff. Where you do the spiritual hygiene, the emotional hygiene, the clearing of energy, so removal of energy, a lot of it is done in sleep, I believe. So it's hard with that Aquarius energy involved, you know, to deal with the anxiety because, listen, a lot is being triggered here, okay? This is not comfortable stuff. So you might not want to sleep sometimes, but the benefits are very high. So if you want to sleep 12 hours, please do. This is the perfect timing. Just use ways to feel more relaxed and feel more comfortable, to take it slow, to calm yourself down. Many ways for that. Take some hot baths. You know, Mars being in Pisces, we're so close to Neptune. Work with water. Walk alongside water. If you're lucky to go into the sea, seawater is perfect to bathe in, to put your feet in. If you don't have a bath, take foot baths. You know, perhaps drink more water so that you flush out whatever needs to be gone. Just use the water magic to help let go of things, of energies and emotions especially. But other ways to calm yourself down is, you know, meditation, bringing in higher help through prayer, through feeling and feeling that you're not alone, to enhance your connection to source power, because you're dealing with so much. You're not alone, and you do not need to go through this alone. You have to connect. If you're not religious, and you don't have to be, I'm not religious either, you definitely have to connect to your own power, to your own energy. So if all of that makes you uncomfortable, just connect to your soul. Use your intuition to the max here, okay? If you feel slightly tired, believe it, accept it, be it, okay? Don't force anything. Enhance your intuitive powers. So if you don't want to go there and do this, don't. Intuition is usually this very soft voice, and because it's so soft and so almost unheard, we tend to not give attention to it, where the real truth is in that. So be careful on the road. If your intuition, a hunch, gut feeling says don't go there, don't do this, don't take that road, go left here, listen to all of that, okay? Just be careful. Be careful with sharp objects, as Mars rules that. Be careful with seafood. This is not the time to eat raw seafood. Stay away from that, as it can be toxic with this Mars and Neptune connection. Because our body is so tired, you know, as Mars represents our body and energy, this could bring in health issues. So you really want to take care of your body and listen to its needs. If it needs to slow down, slow down. And I'll tell you, it needs to slow down, because that's what the energy says. Slow down. Be more quiet. Let yourself be guided. Dream a lot. Listen to your dreams. Sleep a lot more, right? So this can also be meditation, anything to quiet down, calm down. It can also be, you know, using the outlet of art. So make music, sing songs, dance a little, you know, embroider or paint, or do something that brings you calm. As this is a crab degree ruling your childhood, do stuff that made you as a child feel very calm and like got you into this different state of mind. These are things you can always go back to. You know, this could even be an energy, and I wouldn't recommend it, but this could be definitely an energy where you're like, I'm so exhausted, I need to be entertained. And you just put on the TV and the internet and just, you know, become in that state of hypnotherapy energy, right? So, but you have to be very careful, because that's where you're programmed. So you're kind of inflicting yourself again with something that has been causing so much in your life. So I wouldn't advise that, but I understand that that's a way for a lot of people to relax. And you know, Neptune ruling entertainment and film, and you know, so we might want to have these visual entertainment going on, but be very aware of what you're watching. Be very aware of what's being told in the story and how that maybe even affected you. So do your own analysis and be your own therapist, you know? If you're going to watch and be like zoned out, at least try to do that then. But, you know, obviously this Mars and Neptune is making something lovely, and it's sextiling with this huge astrological moment of this year, and that is the conjunction of Uranus and Jupiter. And you know, they're definitely together still. That occurred April 20th in the US, April 21st in Europe area. So 2 days later, you know, April 23rd, obviously they're still conjunct. So there's still that magical momentum of these two planets meeting, higher wisdom, quite some magic and high pumped energy that they bring is sextiling, so working favorably with the Mars and Neptune. So this shows me that there is wonderful, massive, creative potential for a couple of things. Definitely a new reality, but how do you do that? By creating through your imagination, through vision, through your beliefs. You have to believe what you envision, that is what well, first of all, it has to be very clear what you want, because be careful what you wish for, right? So this is a very, I do feel an energy where your wishes can come true, your manifestations can pop up. This is new timelines. This is like quantum leaping kind of energy. This is where, yeah, just dreams can suddenly become real. So you can work with dream magic. You can work with a lot of visualization techniques, manifestation techniques. the conjunction of Uranus and Jupiter also tells me that, you know, grounding the energy in, so literally feet on the earth. You know, the conjunction in Taurus is also saying a practical approach, so not only dreaming, but taking the steps, making an action plan. And, you know, Jupiter and Uranus meeting is a very lucky energy. It's where the help is coming in, where we might feel a mentor, find a mentor, or, you know, like a teacher that can guide us here. And it's also actually where investments can like bring in huge returns. So, you know, as it being a full moon, this could also very much be like, I don't know what you planted 6 months ago. This current full moon in Scorpio is related to the new moon 6 months ago on November 13th of 2023. Because the completion on now, April 23rd of 2024, is related to whatever started in the beginning of November last year. So when we look at that chart very briefly, I can see that that was connected to Mars. Mars was on that new moon. So that is also our body, right? Our physics, but also our motivations and our goals. So it seems that the deep healing that was in our body started in November last year. So I think we started that very deep journey of getting rid, eliminating these deep, you know, traumas that are in our body. So that was pretty intense. The opposition with Uranus back then shows sudden awakenings, sudden realizations to your truth, to the reality, of changing your motivations drastically, and a lot of elimination, a lot of purging that started 6 months ago as well. So if that was your journey these last 6 months, you were right on time with the universe. That whole purging and elimination that's going on with this full moon in Scorpio is opening up our paths to, yes, more authentic motivations, yes, more powerful goals driven from our essence. So this is going to change how we do things and what we want to do. So, you know, that's also part of the change, that you know, we're going to change our interests in things, and overall this is going to change our perspective, and thus it's going to change what matters to us, and thus it's going to change what we want to go after, you know, what is driving us. That's going to change, because as I said, what's driving us usually comes from deep in the psyche. And if the things that are driving us from there are not authentic, then what are we even doing, right? So that's that, I would say, for the chart. And, you know, it's pretty clear, isn't it? One rather important thing as well is that Mercury is still retrograde in this lunation. So Mercury, our planet of our mind, communication, information, what we learn, our use of words, and, you know, ultimately our mind is very connected to our psyche. The words we use are very connected to our traumas, you know, our drives. So it makes all the sense that Mercury is in retrograde. So we are still in evaluation mode, where you know, adapting our mind, and it's whatever it uses, so thoughts, words, and, you know, all these communication ways of communication are changing as well. And you know, our mind, Mercury, has been going through Aries for now almost a month, and it has been really reworked and gone through a healing process, as well as it touched Chiron, and you know, it was involved with also the eclipses, and you know, now it's near the North Node, so a very destined, fated understanding is connected to our mind. And I feel that is related to just, again, this deep understanding of your individual self and your self-esteem, you know, really gaining courage in yourself, feeling more security in yourself, loving your body and more, and really stepping into the leadership that, you know, that you should have in your own life, to the agency you have in your own life. And this is where you become more autonomous, more free, your individual, independent self, and feeling a lot more passion, okay, for the things you do, but also just how your mind operates. And yeah, that is a very essential ingredient to the story, as I said, right? Without you knowing who you are and your worth, all this, the rest, the authenticity, the power, the healing cannot come. So that Mercury is going direct 2 days after this full moon on April 25th. But that's a momentum, like you'll feel like, oh my God, or like you'll have these clear insights, like, or clear ideas, like, okay, I'm gonna do this differently, I'm gonna do it like this, and I'm gonna prioritize this. And moreover, you're going to prioritize yourself. That was the whole goal of Mercury going retrograde in Aries. So now from April 25th on, you know, you're going to strategize how you're going to prioritize yourself, and how you're going to be more unapologetic, and how you do not care to please anybody anymore. And you're really going to change your behavior and your words regarding that. You're going to really be expressive on what you want, what you don't want. Yeah. So you're going to be more of that authentic you that we all want to be. But, you know, Mercury being retrograde for almost a month this time, that was a very long period. So you have to keep in mind that there is a post shadow that astrologers take into account. And it means that there's a moment of, you know, our mind. So we have been in reflective mode for a month, and once it goes direct, it is slowly starting to pick up, because you have gone through a lot of reflections and therefore hopefully change. You know, having all these insights, now you have to operate in a different way, and that's adjustment time. So you have to take it like that Mercury is not in full speed for another 2 weeks. From April 25th on, I would say that you could start on taking on important choices and decisions again. But, you know, Mercury is not in full speed until officially the end of the post retrograde phase, and that is May 13th. But that is a long period, and we've already been in Mercury retrograde for such a long time. I can understand, just like myself, that I'm like, I'm not gonna wait till May 13 to start stuff. You know, some say from May 4th on, Mercury has had a week of post period. This is technical. Go with your guts, go with your intuition. I do also believe that by May 4th, you're good to go again, okay? Just always be alert, always be aware of details and stuff like that, right? So this is just a reminder. But, you know, from April 25th on, we can slowly pick up our pace and, you know, make some new things in our lives, right? New contracts, new processes. It's fine. Oh, you could go on and on and on about astrology forever, but I'll leave it at this. And I think this is impactful full moon. It is a highly transformational full moon, and it's gonna birth a new you and hopefully a brand new reality because of it, and where you're more empowered in who you are. You have agency and autonomy and serenity over your own life, and this is deep healing that will help bring relief to so many people, hopefully. Always take care of your body, especially also during this lunation. Please be mindful that the pace needs to slow down, needs to go within and go deep, okay? This is your one last final moment to really eliminate and purge. And I feel as it goes so deep into the roots and the lineage of your ancestry as well, that this is an ending of deep soul contracts, okay? As Mars is also in Pisces with Neptune, this is the end of a lot of things that you were known to or comfortable with, or not comfortable with, but at least, you know, that was the reality. You're going to experience very different things from now on, and it requires a different you, right? I hope you can understand that and do as much as you can to not resist the changes, not even resist the crises or the emotions. Just, this is the moment. Remember that this is the activation of the generation between 1983 and 1995, when Pluto was in Scorpio, especially at the beginning of that period. So it's the activation of 1983, 84, 85, and maybe even a bit of 86 that is strongly occurring right now. So this generation is waking up to a lot of issues, and it's going to revolt and change the reality. So all y'all Scorpio Pluto people, time to wake up and stand up, and let's see what this generation brings, because it's gonna be unusual and deeply healing. So take care of yourself, body, mind, and soul. And yeah, let's see where this transformation takes us. Leave comments about how you might experience this. What kind of revelations do you have? What kind of transformations are you feeling? Let me know below. And if something significant in your healing process happened in the last 6 months, then please also watch my new moon video in Scorpio, linked below. That occurred November 13th of last year, because if you're that Scorpio generation, and if you have a lot of Scorpio energy in your chart, it's likely that you have felt this full moon long before. So check that out to understand yourself and everything else better. So yeah, happy healing, because clearly that's on the program, and I'll see you in the next lunation situation. Thank you for watching.